Now let's take a deeper look at prison reform with Alex Friedmann. Alex is the Associate Director of HRDC and Managing Editor of Prison Legal News. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So tackle this for us. How does one stay on the right side of the ethical line between providing opportunity and purpose for inmates versus exploiting a captive labor force for financial gain?
Often the two are incompatible. So there are some good programs that provide prison labor projects for prisoners where they can work and learn job skills and are paid fair wages, and they can use those skills to help them find employment after release. But those are the exceptions, certainly not the rule.
Now, we don't always know which companies use prison labor in their supply chains. What are some examples of companies that people may not be aware of?
Well, historically, a number of large companies ranging from Microsoft and Starbucks to Victoria's Secret and others have used prison labor. But currently, most companies that contract with prison labor are fairly small subcontractors or specialty type organizations. There are very few big brand names that are knowingly using prison labor. A lot of it goes through subcontracting now.
So for the companies that do use prison labor in their supply chain, do we know if they offer any sort of opportunities for employment after these offenders are released? Are they reinvesting in them?
And that really is the key. Prison labor programs, to be successful, not only should they provide labor opportunities and job skills training while prisoners are incarcerated, but they should also have a transitional program for helping prisoners find employment with the job skills they've learned after they're released. In many cases, the companies that use prison labor, typically because it's lower cost, while prisoners are incarcerated, will not hire them or do not hire them after those same prisoners with those skills are released. So there is a disconnect there. And that goes back to your initial question of how do you have a prison work program that is a good social program to reduce recidivism, but is not exploitive of prisoners where you're just using them for cheap labor.
And we did see in an effort to help that transition that celebrity Kim Kardashian was recently at the White House discussing second chance hiring, using a corporate partnership with Lyft, the ride-sharing company, so that ex-offenders can get gift certificates to travel to and from job interviews, work, visiting family, etc. Talk about some of the newer prison reforms that we're seeing here in the U.S.
Well, that's an interesting approach, but the fact is that prisoners need much more than free rides to job interviews. Once they get to the interview, they need to have a fair opportunity and chance to actually get a job. And to do that, they have to have the skills and resources that the job requires. So really, preparing for release for prisoners post-release has to begin while they're incarcerated. The programs they receive, the skills, the vocational training, the educational programs that they get has to be provided on the front end so that by the time they're released, that's not when you start preparing them for returning to the community. Really, that should have been done long before, while they were still serving their time.
So let's then look at other inmate labor systems across the world, the ones which offer some of the best and worst chances for offenders to really get back on their feet after release.
So in most cases, prison work programs in other nations are condemned as forced labor or slave labor. We don't use those terms in the United States, but honestly, we should. Most prisoners are forced, they're required to work for, in some cases, no pay at all or for pennies on the dollar. They are, in some cases, forced to work for prison industry programs for up to, say, $1 an hour is their wage. There are only a few programs that could really be held up to the gold standard of what prison work programs should be. And these are programs that pay prisoners a meaningful wage, at least minimum wage, preferably the prevailing wage, that provide job skills that they can actually use post-release to help them find jobs, that provide worker protections, safety protections, while they're employed, because we have reported in our publication many times prisoners who have been seriously injured or killed because of unsafe prison work conditions. And lastly, prisoners should be able to have all the same protections that non-incarcerated workers should have. The ability to petition for safer and better job working conditions and to organize for their own benefit as workers.
And just
very few programs reach those goals.
And just quickly, we know that immigration concerns are clearly all over the headlines. You have a lot of people saying, why should these people get resources and we don't? How do you connect that so that people can really understand why you should be reinvesting in offenders?
Well, for one, about 95% of everybody who's currently incarcerated will one day be released. So those people will be returning to our communities. And one of the biggest predictors for recidivism, for whether people go back and commit more crimes, is whether they're employed. They have to have jobs so that they can earn legitimate wages as citizens like everybody else, so they can care for themselves and provide for their families. If they don't have meaningful employment that provides them with those wages, they're much more likely to return to crimes such as drug dealing or theft and so on to get the money to support themselves and their families. So it is definitely in the societal interest, the more broad interest, to ensure prisoners have the skills and the ability to get jobs where they will contribute to the workforce, pay taxes just like everybody else.
All right, thank you so much for your insights. Alex Friedmann there, Associate Director of HRDC and Managing Editor of Prison Legal News. All right, still ahead.